Your Honor, if that works, Your Honor, what you gave me your knife, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was yours so I can get it back to you.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. All right, we'll go over here. Barrick, would you be able to lock that door for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Or actually both these, if that would be cool. Yeah, RK, you're right. I'm only here for I'm only here because this wasn't Chang Gang, so I'm gonna treat her differently. You're 100% right. All right. Just do a double check, make sure everything is off of your person, or is on your person. Looks like it. Miss Abilene, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. Thanks for complying with us, and I know we'll be in touch soon. All right.
All right, yes, officer, I will. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Let me make sure your attorney's here as well, or unless you went the other way. Whoop. Did you want to speak to your client, or are you good?
Yeah, I'll talk to her.
Okay, I'll meet you about in a minute.
All right, what's going on?
Oh, what for me? Oh, I just wanted to give this back to you.
Oh, right. Yeah, is there anything else you need from me at this time, or
Nope. I'm gonna ask just to clarify: recording as evidence and verbal consent with the timestamp for the phone subpoena.
phone subpoena for Abilene. She gave consent for that too.
Yes.
I only recall the raid. Yeah. As long as the consent was good and her and her representation agree that there's no coercion involved. Yeah, I mean that seems fine.
Okay.
It's basically volunteering that information.
Of course. You know what I didn't do for Abilene, and I'll have her text me it, is the time frame of her subpoena. This way it's not construed by the judges, because technically she consented to what could have been a 30-day subpoena, but I don't want to do that to her.
Yeah, in that case, it might be best to get it in writing.
Okay.
Because like a raid, it's like, you get it on recording, you have permission to go in, and she unlocks the door, etc. So forth. Like, that's pretty self-explanatory. But when you're talking about time frames of records being requested, you might want to have that.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I'll go ask her right now. If you want to come out the back, feel free. If not, I could bring you out the front, whichever.
I'll just come out the back.
You're checking your pockets, you're checking your bags.
I'm stepping over. I don't want to
document everything. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give you to keep yourself safe.
You want me to step away?
Oh no, it's fine.
Okay, sorry. Real quick, Miss Abilene, just because I forgot, I know you consented to it on recording. Can you text me the time frame that you were consenting to? I only wanted the 24-hour, which would be, I guess, the
So the midnight, I guess the midnight that just passed, the scope of 24 hours from the whole, like before, after, like until now, and
pretty much, yeah. Judge Braun, I know you guys have you guys base it off of UTC. What would be the easiest way of getting a 24-hour? This way, it's not being cut off.
Wait. Since when do we use UTC?
Was it UTC?
EST. I use EST.
So, how do I say this? At one point, when requesting phone records, the courts operated based on UTC, or at least I thought they did. Is EST what you guys go based off of when it comes to pulling records?
There was a very long and protracted battle between UTC and EST EST won.
Oh, did it really?
EST is the real time zone.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
New York time is the world's time. Washington, D.C. time is the world's time.
Yeah, we can.
So in terms of EST, what would a good time frame be so that it's not being cut off when we request the records?
You're asking me?
Yeah, because
we all know this.
All
Texas
right,
time is the only time that matters, y'all. Okay,
Right,
that's a bit
Okay, where were we
That was a
going
little
too far?
delayed, Cornwood.
UTC, Universal Texas Clock.
This would
Nah.
be at least
Eastern. Wait, no.
Wait, what?
Eastern Superior
Universal
Time is all that
Texas Clock.
matters.
All right, so you're
Jesus
asking me this math question about time zones. What are you asking me about this subpoena specifically?
When I request the phone subpoena, what time frame should I be giving so that the records are not cut off?
I would just say EST. Like,
Okay.
whatever the time frame is, as you understand it, I would just use
Eastern
EST. It's
Superior
probably
Time.
yeah, Eastern Superior Time.
Okay.
There you go.
That's fine. We'll go ahead and get it submitted and follow through with. Abilene, the reason I ask is if you could just text me that time frame, so essentially the 27th to the 28th, from 12 to 12, would probably just be the easiest, and we'll go from there. Submit it. This way we have that information. I just need it more in writing. This way I can also submit that. It's just easier for the request as well.
Okay.
Sort of just your name, I'm giving permission to have my phone subpoena requested from the time frame of this to this with the following phone number, and then just provide your phone number.
Oh, okay. I don't have a phone right now, and
No, that's fine. Zero rush. Whenever you can get to me on that, you have my number, and if you need to get it again, Xavier has it, and as long as you can get that forwarded to me, we'll go and get it submitted as soon as possible.
All right, I'll do that as soon as I get my phone, which might be first thing tomorrow morning, if that's fine.
There is zero rush. You are perfectly
All
fine.
right.
I'll wire you like $500 too.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Awesome.
Smartphones are expensive, I guess.
Like I think the 15 or something. I don't know.
Price gone down.
Wait, they're down.
Price
Oh.
gone down. Tablets used to be a lot more expensive. They're like $150.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
Well, fantastic. Awesome. Well,
Okay, Abilene, you good?
I'm good. I mean, would you be able to give me a ride? Or...
Yeah, I don't have a car.
None
Yeah,
of
I guess
us.
none of us do. I can
Murphy,
walk.
you don't got
It's
one?
It's fine. It's fine.
No, I woke up here, so I don't have a car.
Okay. Let's.
Sadly.
how far away is your nearest vehicle?
I might
can
just
run somewhere.
spend the
I
night
can
in a
run one
hospital or
somewhere.
something.
Okay,
Yep.
that works.
I'll just run
'cause
somewhere.
My
and-
chest still hurts from getting stabbed.
No, that's fair.
Understandable.
You can go with him if you want. That's fine.
All right. Thank you.
Not a problem, Miss Abilene. You take care.
Night.
Why am I having deja vu?
That's the same thing I was telling Barrick. Like, I think we all know what it is, right? And keeping the investigation open is obviously important, but also, I'm very, very interested in whether or not that was a scheduled meeting or not. Not because I think that the judge is involved, but it might point us to associates of who's doing this.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. I think trying to conduct that properly is good. I want to know who called. I want to look for that blood. I want. There's a lot that I want to do right now. I haven't even got my statement in the report. This is going to be a lot of. This is going to be a lot.
Yep, I agree. I was talking to Barrick and he agreed. Like, as far as I see my scope of helping you guys, it's for the entire investigation, not for, not to convict her. It's like, whichever way we go with it, I'm here to help you guys. So just let me know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, how do you feel things are going right now? Because right now, I mean, obviously, based on your statement, it does sound like.
I mean, it sounds like we need. So, again, I'll tell you the same thing I told Corwin, same thing I told Barrick. I think you could absolutely press charges right now and convict her ass on possession. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And I think she was absolutely under duress based on everything that we've heard. I think that witness statements would corroborate that. But more importantly, the investigation, which I hope is where we're going next, is who the fuck has all these guns and why are they doing this?
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of the direction I want to go. I would really like to avoid the conviction if we can prove her innocence. And based on her statement, I have reason to believe that, yeah, maybe she's telling the truth. Honestly, my big takeaway is if I can get in touch with Bobby Charles and he can give me a similar story, that's a witness. Also, the Jordan thing was Cornwood saying that Jordan
got kidnapped, or was about to get kidnapped.
and they didn't because
Wrong girl.
see, that's interesting because that's not what she told police. I found out.
What'd she tell police?
Essentially that, nah, don't worry about it. It was just a weird situation, and it was just kind of chalked up to something regarding furniture. So I want to know because
that doesn't help.
yeah. Well, I'm
That's
gonna
bad.
except when I get her into a room and Mirandize her, she'll hopefully have some more information to disclose because I would really love to know her statement, especially because she's already given conflicting sides. It sounds like. But the timeline of events, there was no there was no report made. This is where things get fucked up. There was no report made because she didn't want to press charges.
Oh, well. I think you guys should be making reports whether people press charges or not. This is a problem.
I would agree with you. We already do so much paperwork. I understand why we try our best to limit what we can. Unfortunately, where we do shorthand ourselves is where we are kind of fucked, because then we are stuck with the ever dooming, oh man, if we don't write this down, what if? And of course, this falls under the what if. So I think just based on the fact that I know that Jordan was also reported kidnapped during the time of roughly around the timeline of when this 911 came through. I think we have enough of a timeline to at least bring Jordan into a room and say, hey, you know, the other day you know, there's reports of you being possibly kidnapped, right? And just kind of going off of that. I wish I knew who the other assailant was. I'm hoping Bobby Charles will have that information, but it's as the good old Cornwood would say, it is a daggum shit show. I don't know how else to put that.
Couldn't agree more, honestly. I think it is, but at the end of the day, the important thing is getting it done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
gotta follow the road wherever it leads, right?
Yeah, right now it's currently running up Schitt's Creek, and I'm not a fan. But because if this is one of, all I'm gonna say, Xavier, is how do I say this where it doesn't sound like I'm a sloppy officer? If I have to do another one of these in the next 24 hours, I'm gonna throw my badge at a wall, pick it back up, and hope it's not bent in two.
Yeah. Well, I was asking Barrick. I said, because we know all these other guns are out. What do you think? You know, what are the chances we get 2 of these tomorrow or 3? You know, because they're pissed off that charges didn't get pressed in this one.
Well, the issue is, I mean, if you really look at it, this started 4 hours ago. 4 or 3 hours ago? I don't even know. But even if it was 3 or 4 hours ago, times that by however many are stolen. If this is the course of action based on the gun that was stolen, I mean, I don't want to call this a waste of officer time, but because it's not according to the law, but of course we have reason to believe that the gun could have been, you know, the gun could have been planted. We got to prove it. We got to try and find some, you know, form of doubt. We have a casing.
Right.
Barrick did find the projectile, and it does match. So that does mean something.
Good. I mean, I'm glad. I think you guys are doing it right, as usual.
I mean, there's a reason why I'm trying to help out with the Ruth stuff, because I do think that someone level-headed needs to be conducting it, and I think Barrick is more than level-headed, and I think I'm more than level-headed to make a reasonable and rational decision. And you know, if someone has to investigate it, I would rather it be us versus, you know, someone else. Not that I don't trust anyone else. It's just, it falls in line with making sure that things are being done thoroughly and being done with the entire process.
All right. If we're done with that, at least for the time being, do we want to try and get statements?
I just got called by Malton about questions. At this point, I say we rain check that till tomorrow, and we just do it for tomorrow.
Now, my only thing is like, Siobhan, when I talked to her like an hour ago, the mayor was not awake. So,
Oh. Well,
if we
fuck.
wanted to make it easy in terms of like, talking to one at a time.
Yeah. I
You can
mean,
just talk
we
to
don't.
him.
I don't think. I mean, Flop. If you wanna have other things that you want to get done, I mean, Barrick and I could just go handle that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. If you want to do that, that works for me. Barrett, do you have a report started with this stuff yet, or no?
Nope.
You want to start one real quick? This way we just have it on paper, and we can start
Do
adding to it.
we-
I'm gonna
Can I-
call it something really sketchy so that nobody knows what it's about.
Yeah,
Can
we'll just call it like
can I-
parking
can I be the
violations.
jerk?
Oh yeah, sure.
Do we think that Ruth might have access to that report?
Oh,
If
she
I
will,
understand.
which is why I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah. So I know that this isn't popular, but maybe we work on an external system.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that until the time is necessary that we need to format it properly. And
Correct. Yeah, that's my thought.
Thing,
Yeah. Let me.
yeah. I personally think that's fine.
Let me.
Should we get a
let me
judge
something
approval
to you
on
guys.
that? Is that possible?
What would a judge approve? It's an investigation. You're just not doing it on the MDT.
Yeah, I know the big push though was everything should be done on the MDT, but I fully understand why there would be reservation about that with this case.
Yeah. Let me. You just want me to call Murphy?
Yeah,
I'll just call Murphy real quick.
you can ask Murphy. Just kind of give him the rundown and just explain the reasoning
Yeah.
and see if there would be problems with that in court.
Yeah, I haven't got to break the news to him yet, so. Hey, Murphy, you got a second for a quick question? I am currently working on, I have been appointed the special prosecutor in the case against Captain Ruth for treason. I am just looking, I was talking to Flop and Barrick, who are the investigators on the case with me. They have, we all have, I think, reservations about putting our documentation in the MDT until we're ready to press charges if we press charges. Is that an issue with, does that create a judicial issue for us if we do that?
Explain as well. The other officers have to be interrogated as well.
Right, because we're going to have to interrogate other officers, captains. Captain Ruth would have access to it if it's in the MDT available to her. So we're talking about having like an external document that we work on instead until we decide if we're pressing charges.
Call it senior bun stabbing. That's a genius fucking statement. Holy shit, that would be. I mean, that's not out of the picture of possibilities.
Okay, just wanted to call and get that cleared up with you. Yeah, I think that's beyond our control. I don't know that we can do that. Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I think the RP's been good. I think this is built into something very, very, very enjoyable, but now we get to see. Let me call Malton back. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
Makes sense.
Mike,
All right.
that timing
Okay,
was
well-
fucking insane.
We'll go ahead and we'll proceed with doing that for now.
Yeah.
Hey, Malton, I'm just going to touch base, finishing something up with a judge, and then I'll be free if you wanted to
All right.
talk.
I mean, yeah. Do you want to give a statement for like all this audit bullshit?
Sure, I don't mind.
Yeah. Wrap up with your judge. Call me back.
All good, not a problem.
All right. But
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Murphy. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Okay. Good news is he agrees. If we need to compartmentalize information, we are a go. And I think that's absolutely the case here.
Yeah.
I think that makes. We don't want every cop and their mother peeking in on our investigation, right?
No, that's fair.
So I think let's do that. I have something started. I'm gonna email you.
Yeah, definitely.
Fuck. Can you send me your email? I don't think I have it.
I don't know if I know your email. Hold on.
I can send you mine if you want to do it that way.
I'll write it down here.
Yeah, nice.
Here.
You got it. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If I have to, I can make a comment in our email chain that you would be able to have access to if you want to find it that way too.
Give me 1 second here.
All good?
Did you get that?
I'm gonna be honest, I have so many people requesting access. Would you be able to just send me an email too, just to make sure that it's the right person I'm accepting from my email chain? It could say literally anything. Because I don't know if I got it. Let me know when you send something.
There you go.
Yep, we're all good.
Cool. I already started. I have Max's statement in there. We'll obviously replace that. And then I just had like future actions, things that like we were going to work on or whatever.
I gotcha. Oh, hold on a minute. Not that I care about other email chains, but I gotta ask a question.
Uh-huh.
You see some dark and darker there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take note of that.
Good. Good. Anytime.
Perfect. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Let me take a look at this. Can I show this, or would you rather this not be shown?
I don't mind you showing it, but the link itself
Yes. Yeah,
is, you know what I mean?
Okay. All right, perfect. Awesome. We'll kind of get our information there and kind of establish our timeline and build it from there.
Cool. Yeah, and that's basically what I want to do. I want to start off with like the night of the, I think it was the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. 23rd, captains met. XYZ was discussed in the mayor's office. This happened. This is what was stated by each of the people. Then we move on to, you know, like I'm gonna build this damn thing out so that a toddler could understand it. That's my
the goal. Yeah, I every time a cadet wants like tips on how to write reports, I tell them you need to write this like a fucking 2-year-old's gonna read it.
Yeah.
So that they can understand it. A toddler needs to read that and go, oh, okay, I get it.
Exactly.
Instead of having the puzzle in front of you, build the puzzle so that it has a very clear image.
Yeah, and normally, I'm just going to be honest. Normally, I don't put that much work in because, to be quite honest, like the charges don't warrant the work. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
But in the case of capital crimes, you put the goddamn work in.
Absolutely. This is going to be like 100% effort through and through.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a little bit, I don't know, because there was some talk of like, what was the report that she put out to the PD destroyed or removed or whatever? And based on what you guys said, it sounds like it was just like a change from announcement to something else.
Yes.
So that, because we were thinking, oh, well, shit, if something is destroyed, that's evidence tampering, right? So like, we got to be careful with that. Then,
yeah.
So yeah, anyways, let's just see what we can find and then at least pursue it that way. I think it's a good plan. So
No, 100%. I think we're good here. I gotta go catch another meeting
Awesome.
real quick. If you
Take it
need me at all,
easy.
Xavier, you give me a shout. As always, thank you. It's always a pleasure, my man.
Of course. Take it easy.
You as well.
Hello.
Hello. What's your 20?
I'm in the break room, but did you want to talk like undisturbed in MRP, or did you want to do like on patrol so you could actually respond to calls and stuff too?
We can do it undisturbed. That's fine. I practically live in this fucking police department, Malton, so that works for me.
Okay,
I'm just sort of
yeah. I'll meet you on the roof then.
yeah, that works. It might be raining. Just a heads up. We can try and get some cover if we can. But we're not
I'll
getting
play it by
soaked.
ear. Yeah, I'll see what it's like up there.
All good. I'm on the way up. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye. Bye. All right. I hate mobile Twitch. I'm missing so much because it freezes all the time. Damn. The mobile app I know is always kind of wonky at times, but oh, chat. Anybody have any burning questions about why streamer didn't do what happened to my streamer to that person? Anybody? Any takers? Any comers? So we have to get all the evidence and all the information before we go from there. Come? Yeah, no, come. Nothing wrong with some come. Doing your job. Ooh, angry. Yeah, that's the beauty of chats, though, and communities. Right. We have to treat it as, you know, one, it's role play, and we want to, you know, create story for everybody. We're not out here looking to just create story for us, because what's the fun in that? We want to give it back to other people, and in this case, we're giving it back, number one, and number two, every situation is going to be treated differently as best as possible, and we're going to continue to do that when we can. Looking good, Malton.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Thank you.
You want this to be with your name tied to it, or off the record?
I don't even know what this is pertaining to, but anything to help out, I got no issues.
I mean, you could decide at the end if you want. Basically, this is an audit that has been approved by all parties. It's kind of related to the legislation that
When you say all
Crane-
parties, you mean the mayors and the captains?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, to be completely fair, there has been some political back and forth, to put it lightly, between the mayor's office and the captains, as I'm sure you've seen in your reports.
Oh my goodness, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know you are. And the captains said they were open to an outside audit to begin with. So this, it's kind of being wrapped up in the mayor's thing right now. But they said they were going to be moving forward with this regardless to a bureaucratic audit of the PD. It's basically meant to ask questions, get opinions, and catalog the data to see if there's any commonalities. Obviously, a tale as old as time, Flop. People saying cops bad. This is kind of just to determine. Is this a vocal minority that is just bitching and moaning really loud, or is this actually like what a lot of people in the PD are feeling, and they're just not speaking up about it?
Sure. I mean, I'll be blunt and start off with you. I think that it is a minority of a minority versus the masses of PD who are genuinely having issues. But I think the real takeaway is that there is truth in the fact that people are making points. People are hearing the transparency of what's going on between their colleagues. And I think it does instill fear for those people, whether they are the ones being the loudest in the room or not, right?
All right. So, obviously a captain's, more specifically Ruth, may come up in this conversation because some people have a problem with her. That's not a shocker. What I need to know before we get started is, if I use Ruth puns, are you able to recognize that is not an opinion of yours, that is just trying to bring brevity to this conversation and all that?
I don't care. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. Well, then that being
Are
said,
you asking if I'm okay with a joke, Alton?
you gonna charge me with treason?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I will
Well,
say though, actually, this might be important to your line of questioning.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I really need to disclose this, but I am currently one of the officers conducting the investigation for Captain Ruth.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's fair. Whatever floats your boat, man.
No, that's just me letting you know. This way you're aware in case some lines of questioning come in. But
Oh, regardless of the investigation, what is your Flop Dudong's opinion of Ruth the Impaler?
well, to be blunt, I've only met her about 4 times, and none of them were longer than a 5-minute conversation.
Okay.
And out of all the conversations I've had, I have personally, I cannot speak for everybody, but I have personally had no issues with Captain Ruth.
What do you think the PD perception of a whole is of Saddam Ruthane?
I feel like most people have not spoken to Ruth extensively. This is my opinion. I don't think most people have probably spoken to Ruth extensively enough to really have a formulated opinion. And there is a concern that most people are only hearing what other people are saying. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
Hey, Barrick, what's up?
Where are you at?
I'm on the roof talking to Malton regarding this audit thing.
Okay.
Everything good?
Yeah, I just didn't know if you were still with Xavier.
Nope. Wrapped up with Xavier.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
The answer, in case Xavier didn't bring it up to you, there is reason to believe that it's safer to have this off the MDT. So that's how we're going to proceed. So.
Okay. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Yep. Not a problem. Bye-bye.
No.
Sorry.
No, okay. So so do you feel that it's just people flying off the hip, or do you think that Ruthilla the Hun has like an approachability problem?
Me personally, approachability has been fine, no issues. As for other people, I know some people have had issues. As for the generalization of the entire PD, I feel like most people probably haven't had the approach with Captain Ruth to formulate that opinion. But I could be wrong about that. I'm speaking from late shift 2 into almost all of shift 3. Unfortunately, my time slot where I work does not carry over into where I see Captain Ruth conduct business.
I mean, yeah. Some people might be intimidated to approach a Ruthless Khan. I mean, she conquered most of the Asian steppe in China, right? Like, it could be a very intimidating person to try to talk to.
I mean, that could be a way of putting it.
Yeah, okay. To actually get like a little more down to earth with like the actual problems that people have been bitching and moaning about. I'm gonna start with one that I actually don't feel is a problem. So I would love to be convinced otherwise if you feel this is.
Sure.
What is your opinion on the DAP system? Because at face value, this does not look like a very oppressive system unless you get caught a lot.
So, now let me ask you, just for your notes, out of curiosity, are you looking at the DAP system as of current or the DAP system prior? Because there was a change in the DAP system as of less than a week ago.
Yeah, I have heard about the 30, 60 day change. I mean, if you want to split it up, you could say both. I think it is important to note that the DAP system was changed, presumably on feedback.
Yes, I was part of that feedback. I have no problem providing.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that, which is something good to note as part of this audit. But I mean, even if you want to, I don't. This DAP system, the one before, I don't care. Like, if you want to answer the question, I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
The first one did not seem oppressive either, Flop.
Well, I will explain to you sort of where the change was, and I'll give you the reasoning as to why. So let me give you, we're going to have, I'm going to be spewing a lot of shit. If you need me to slow down or stop, you just tell me.
Hit me with it. You know, I got all day. You know, Benito Rutholini, make sure the trains
Yeah,
run on time.
Of course. So, to be blunt, when the DAP system came through, this is a new system. This was something that we had to test and see. Now, in the process of how the DAP system is to be tested and seen, the way the DAP system is pursued is based on how the expectation is to be held in the PD. Whether that be, you know, the way that we act, the way that we treat people. On paper, doesn't look too bad. In practice, what you had was a system that got people in trouble for certain things, whether it be uniform or excessive force. And we as a PD, at least from the senior level and below, most of us sort of saw maybe a little flaw. And the flaw that we saw was feedback from everybody else being afraid to do their job. Now, if you...
Everyone or a select few. I mean, not everyone, but sorry, like the majority of the right, like, was it actually a problem, or was it just like you know, 5 people bitching and moaning every day?
I took an anonymous complaint from about roughly 10 officers, and most of them...
That's a fair number, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were across most shifts, and most of them gave me altering opinions about it, most of them being fearful about their job because of the way the DAP system was, and I asked them specifically what. Most of the general consensus was that the DAP system, it's easy to accumulate DAPs, and 60 days was a lot to fall off. Now, between you and I didn't see a problem with the 60 days. And in fact, I still don't see a problem with the 60 days. And I took the feedback from people, because I took a very long and extensive look at this. And my primary goal with the DAP system was, I think the DAP system works as it needs to, but how can we improve it? I wanted to add a layer. So my suggestion was to incorporate an officer's hours and time on duty within that time frame. Because everybody's like, oh, drop it down to 30. Keep it at 60. Make it fucking 90. And I said, no, leave it at 60. But, for example, just for sake of argument, just so you can get an understanding as to where my idea came in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you do 5 hours on duty and I do 50. And let's say that's in the course of a week. I've done the math on this, so let's just say, for now, the average of our time as you and I on duty a week was 27 and a half hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you conducted enough police work and showed enough effort in that 27 and a half hours, and let's say you had a DAP, my suggestion was we offer you, or you're able to be available to essentially be viewed for officer review. And in that officer review, we go through your reports, we talk to you, we figure out what your initial reason for the DAP was, see if we are able to remove a DAP from you. Maybe not the full DAP, maybe not, you know, let's say you got 5 in a day, maybe it's just, you know, 1 or 2 that got taken off. Something to essentially encourage people to stay on duty. What we had was the concern and fear that if people were on duty, they would have more chances of getting DAPs, and if you had more chances of getting DAPs, there was more chance of you getting fired. So my suggestion was incorporate hours and officers on duty so that we're able to use that as a tool to encourage people to stay on duty and not be afraid to be around. He offered that, you know, we'll call it leniency.
Yeah.
I proposed it. I was told, hey, flop, great idea. Nothing came of it. Shocker. We were then in a meeting. I was invited to this meeting with the other seniors from Shift 2. And their reasoning on the DAP system was, I think, even maybe more valid than my reason, and it was way easier to understand. So, for sake of argument, I am on a scene and I use my car to stop a suspect. Let's say I use it intentionally to ram them, right? We call that excessive force. 5 DAP points. We can agree with that?
If that's how your system is, I don't, you know.
Yeah. I should probably clarify. Do you have access to our SOPs?
I have not looked at any specific yet. Like, as part of this audit, like, I could request them and
No, that's
you know, maybe look at them. But yeah, I just don't have carte blanche access, nor do I want it, right? Like, I only want to look at those if it's relevant.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So, you have 5 DAP points for use of excessive force. We believe as seniors that should absolutely be held over your head for that 60 days. You should fucking learn. You should see that and you should absolutely know and you should learn from that because that is bad, right? That's horrible. In the same light as those 5 DAPs being held above you for 60 days, if I came to work with my shoes untied, wearing a hat, that's a uniform violation. That's 1 DAP. What we had proposed and what actually Ruby had proposed, and I thought it made sense, was that 1 DAP you received is held to the same standard as the use of excessive force. And essentially the way that it was read was, and I didn't even look at it this way, but I agree with it. We believe that it would be absolutely insane to hold, a uniform violation over someone's career for the same amount of time as you would hold excessive force using your vehicle against a suspect. We believe, and the way that we pushed it was, while we believe that you should get in trouble for this because you're not following our SOP, we shouldn't be using this as essentially, the same severity bridge as excessive force. So that's where we got into the minimum, or I guess the maybe jokes aside, the misdemeanor, DAPs and the felony DAPs, if you really want to call it that, right? So minor and major DAPs. We pushed for it. We wanted a little bit more of an extensive system. We met in the middle, and this is what we got. And in my opinion, the DAT system now is moving in the right direction. I think that it sort of bridged a gap between maybe an imbalanced system and giving it a little bit more balance.
All right.
You're getting the senior perspective on this, so I do apologize.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, what's your opinion on the rate that these DAPs are being handed out? Do you think that do you think that's excessive, like overly strict? Do you think it's not strict enough? Do you think that it's in a pretty good spot as far as the strictness in applying these DAPs?
While I haven't issued many myself, I think that the rate at which they're going. Ask that question again. I'm trying to just formulate my words so that they're accurate.
Right. So obviously there is the DAP system, and people are worried about it. But I guess if I'm trying to get to the heart of the issue, is this a self-fulfilling prophecy because this system isn't used very frequently, or is
It's being used pretty frequently?
And is that, and I guess then more specifically, is that Al Rupone just coming in and dapping everyone left and right, or do you think all the captains are pretty, let's say, equal in their application of the system to their officers?
I want to make sure I answer this with my full honesty. So I'm just making sure that my verbatim statement here is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I think the DAP system is being used as it should. And I think that our communication with how we decide on DAPs from the senior level is very healthy. What we do know, and what I have personally seen, is that the DAP system, some people are getting DAPs in other shifts for doing the same things in not that shift. So for example, what we may consider okay in shift 3, shift 1 doesn't see it that way.
Ruthel DeVille at it again, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Mullen. I don't bleed into shift 1. Apparently, though, according to everybody, that's the horror story.
Right. I mean, like I said, I've heard a lot of bad things about what Vladimir Ruthin is doing over there. so then that begs the next question, and I'm gonna kind of give like an either or here. For lack of a better word, do you think people are being targeted by this? Like, do you think that there are scapegoats that this DAP system excessively goes after, or are there just people who are, again, for lack of a better word, too stupid to understand that you shouldn't be doing things in front of others?
It's a loaded question because overall, I was not present, and it would be hard to give you like a solid answer on that. In my personal opinion, based on some of the DAPs that I've heard from people, and of course I'm hearing the secondhand, so I'm getting
right. Yeah, sure, grain of salt.
yeah. It does sound like maybe the DAP system is, while it's being used, is not exactly. It does sound like it's the frequent flyers that are receiving these DAPs for the most part.
Okay. Hey, it was changed with feedback. Although, did it take? I don't know how you want to phrase it, because I'm not saying everything should be taken at like immediate face value and changed, but do you think that the amount of feedback you all had to give was, let's say, excessive? Like, were you all as seniors like pushing back against this DAP system for like a month before it finally got changed?
Don't write this down because it's unprofessional, but Jesus Christ, I feel like I've been beating a dead horse. But the professional answer is yes. I do think that many suggestions have come up to try and incorporate something. So to kind of expand on that question, we as seniors, per our chain of command, we are next in line for the officers, and we're even open to speaking with the probationary officers. They're probationary. I have no problem speaking with them. I'm not going to look at them as being stepped out of line per chain of command. I don't mind them coming and talking with me. It is our job to be in the field, and it is our job to provide feedback in order to get an eyeball of how the police department is conducted. And right now, oh man, I'm really going to go down a rabbit hole for you, but this is, I think, good. Right now, I think a lot of the way that the police department is ran is that there isn't enough delegation in our chain of command. For example, and the example I've used with the captains and I've used with other people, is that if you look at the PD, not as a police department, but as a business, your captains are bosses, your seniors are managers, your officers are employees, and your cadets are interns. In order for a boss to see their business from the ground up, they need to have the time to see it from, let's say, the buyer's perspective, right? The people that fund their business, so the civilians. And they also need to see it from the cadet level, who are the ones going through the system. As of right now, captains are currently handling hiring, handling reviews for DAPs. They're handling academies. They have a lot on their plate. There's not a lot of delegation that's currently happening, I think, from the captain level. And I think what we're getting a lot of is we see it from the streets. We hear the UPD. Per the chain of command, an officer's not going to go to a captain all the time. We're going to get that information. When we gather the information and we speak among ourselves and we try and propose something or bring up the concern, the police department as a whole is going to resort to the captain. And I think right now, personally, I could be wrong about this. I think personally, the captains have so much on their plate, or could have a lot on their plate right now, that they are unable to see it from an outside perspective, and they're only able to see it from the top down. And I think what we're getting a lot of is we're getting a lot of policing from the inside, but they're not branching out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that was gonna kind of lead into like I don't worry, I have like delegation on here already. So I mean, we'll I guess going back before we move on to like the whole like DAP system being changed because of feedback. To put it lovingly, because you even said they have a lot on their plate. Do you think the system took so long to change because they are resistant to change within the bureaucracy, or it just took a couple weeks for them to finally be able to talk about it in a meaningful way?
Most of my approaches with this was one-to-one with captains. I think the reason this change happened was because we had 3 or 4 seniors in a room talking to 2 captains.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because there was, respectfully speaking, an indifference between both captains, it opened up that discussion. I think from an individual level, it would be the difference between me and Slacks having a one-to-one and him giving his opinion versus Slacks giving his opinion in front of, let's say, Turner, and Turner disagreeing with it, and now they have the opportunity to have a discussion about it. And I think that is what ultimately opened up the door to maybe possible change. I think the fact that there was a bigger group to essentially kind of have that bigger discussion, it allowed more perspective, and I think it allowed that change to happen within 24 hours.
All right, well, then moving on to the delegation issue. Obviously, we touched on that a little bit. You know, it's already clear here from what you said. You think the captains have a lot on their plate. Now, the question I have is there a failure to delegate, or do the seniors also have a lot on their plate and there's just too much food to go around currently?
I'm going to answer that honestly, and I'm going to answer that this is going to be very, 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 like, I need this, like, not noted, but just more for you to keep in mind.
Yes.
My experience as a senior has differed, I would say, way differently from any of the other shifts, as our captain did have time away due to whatever his reasons were. They're not my business, but he did have to take an LOA. And because he took an LOA, the seniors in shift 3 did the best that we could to fill in that gap. So I can say for certain, besides, let's say, reviewing warrants and maybe a couple other things, we essentially took the reins from captains, or from Captain Turner, this last probably month and a half. So I can say for certain, I have been, you can say, in the shadow of his shoes. Not fully in his shoes, but definitely in the shadow of it. And I think that's where a lot of maybe my busyness has come from. Seniors have a lot on their plate, but I do think a lot of what is on our plate also happens to do based on our command structure right now. We are sort of presumed sergeants to some degree based on how we've been conducting.
So you already answered my next question, was going to be, are you doing the duties of sergeants? You just said yes.
Yeah.
The natural follow-up is just then, well, why aren't you a sergeant?
To be honest, I think the only people that know that are our captains. I don't think that's been asked.
Fair enough.
I will.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it might come off as rank chasing.
No.
No. But none of you have been like, hey, we're doing the rank of sergeant, so why aren't we? And we could backfill a senior position. Like no one's asked that.
It was brought up in a conversation by one of the captains, and it was sort of just the conversation entailed that we were sort of presumed sergeants as of right now. But the follow-up question was not asked to be laid on the table. I have no problem asking a captain. It just, I never bothered to ask, to be honest, because
fair enough.
And who knows? Maybe I don't know the answer to that, because maybe I'm okay with the delegation as a senior right now. Maybe I don't see an issue with it. Maybe that's just my prerogative, and I don't see that. But
yeah, maybe Ruth the Ripper or the other captains could answer that better. Okay, well then, kind of moving on. This is gonna get into like this next section is gonna kind of get into like the whole like FTO program and bullshit. First off, I see you got the stripes. I presume that means you're an FTO as well.
I'm a senior and I am also an FTO.
Okay. Is that just how it's kind of working out? Because you know how few like the qualities of an FTO are the qualities of a senior, or is one required for the other?
I don't think that's been set in stone yet. It was told to us that it is subject to change, but the overall consensus from one captain was that it is, you know, they would like to know that a sergeant is capable of teaching as well, because they think that that's an important feature. As of right now, I think every senior that we have is an FTO, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. My understanding of the current FTO system is similar to the old days. You guys do academies of varying sizes, shall we say. They then go into a generic pool, they queue up, FTOs take them. My question is, and you know, obviously shift 3 has always been historically the lowest patrolled shift as we see right now. Is every cadet you all hiring, or are they being taken, or are some languishing in the queue?
I can't speak for other shifts, but for our shifts, some are definitely in the queue. I'll be honest with you. Since I have been taking on so many cases, and I have been at the time filling in the shoes, as well as at the time the only other senior was Barrick. We were filling in the shoes for the captain for a lot of stuff for that month and a half. I simply and respectfully still do not feel I have the time to take cadets. I would like to, and I don't want my availability to falter that, but just to give you a little bit of logistical information that I have passed along to the captains, we had this conversation is probably a week old, maybe a little older. And this was brought up with a captain already. At the time of this question being brought up and the time of the concerns being brought up, we had 11 full officers in shift 3. Out of the 11, 5 were frequent flyers, we'll say, who actually came around. All 5 of us being FTOs. At the time, we had 11 probationary officers, and we had 8 cadets. We had more cadets than officers, while we are still managing another 11 probationary officers. And there was a little bit of, you know, push and shove about the idea of old guard, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And that has come up a lot. And we have asked for help for the FTO program, because we are in at least shift 3, a very rough spot. I will make note, though, this is clear. It has improved, and I'll get to that since Turner's return. But at the time of, you know, expressing this to one of the captains, one of the concerns that was brought up was the concern of old guard. And the point that we made as FTOs, there were 3 of us in that room, was every single person who showed up every day, regardless of how the shift has been, what has been going on, the problems that we've had, the problems with patrol. Each and every single one of us had one thing in common, and that was that we were old guard.
So,
now, oh, sorry.
No, so I guess what I was gonna ask is, I guess there's really no other way to ask it, so I'm just going to ask it. Do you think there are a lack of cadets being taken because there is a lack of FTOs to support them, or do you think there are FTOs or people who are who want to be FTOs available? They just don't want to take a cadet YOLO Swagtron 420 because they have no personal relationship with them.
I'll be blunt. I think I already gave you that logistical information. I think that a big part of this is that we have more cadets than we do FTOs. And I think because at the time, 2 of us were seniors filling in shoes for captains, we really only had roughly. Actually, I can't speak for Barrick. Barrick's been taking a lot of cadets, but
Yeah.